Now, if you've been in Canada in recent years, you know how crazy and bizarre Canadian politics can get. But did you know that things were way crazier in the past? Like, for instance, once a rhinoceros was a party leader that was actually contesting elections, and they even had real candidates and they got thousands of votes. Well, believe it or not, it happened in Canada in the 1980s. And it's just not this. There have been many more bizarre instances where some parties wanted to fix the country, some wanted to leave it, and some just wanted free beer and better sidewalks. And as you know about them, you'll wonder how they were even allowed to run. So let's take a look at Canada's weirdest political parties, starting with the Rhinoceros Party. The Rhinoceros Party came into existence in 1963 in Montreal. The official party leader was a rhino from the Granby Zoo named Cecile. Well, you see, it all started when a writer and doctor named Jacques Ferron was tired of boring politics, and he thought, if the politicians are going to lie anyway, why not make it funny? So he created a party that made silly promises on purpose, like repealing the law of gravity, building taller schools for higher education, and slanted sidewalks so people could walk downhill everywhere. But you see, the party wasn't just fooling around. They were using humor to point out how empty real promises made by politicians were. Many people related with the humor, and slowly the popularity rose. And in the 1980 federal election, the Rhinoceros Party ran over 100 candidates nationally. While they didn't win any seats, but they got over 110,000 votes, which was more than even some of the more serious parties that contested the elections. That was because people preferred their honesty, as they didn't pretend to solve everything and promise a better tomorrow. The party kept going through the 1970s and 80s, but in 1993, new election rules made it harder for them to exist. They needed more money and more candidates to stay registered. So eventually, the Rhinoceros Party was officially deregistered. The Marijuana Party. The Marijuana Party was founded by Marc Boris St. Maurice. He was a political activist from Montreal in the year 2000 and founded the party just as Canadians were starting to debate cannabis laws more seriously. He believed that Canada's drug laws were outdated, unfair, and needed to change. At the time, marijuana was still completely illegal. Even simple possession could get you arrested. But more and more people, especially younger Canadians, were starting to ask, why? That's where the Marijuana Party came in. They had one clear goal: legalize cannabis for medical use, for recreational use, for everyone. And Marc Boris and his team weren't afraid to say it out loud. They believed the government's war on drugs was causing more harm than good. People were going to jail for small amounts where they weren't even creating any trouble. So instead of waiting for the big parties to care, they formed their own. In the 2000 federal election, they ran 73 candidates across Canada. That gave them full national status and a chance to get their message into official debates and media coverage. Though they didn't win any seats, they got nearly 67,000 votes, which shocked a lot of people. They kept running in elections after that, over and over again, knowing they weren't going to form a government. But you see, that was never the plan. They just ran to keep the conversation going, to pressure the major parties, and to represent the people who felt ignored on marijuana laws. Eventually, the pressure worked. By the mid-2000s teens, other parties, especially the Liberal Party under Justin Trudeau, started to support legalization too. And in October 2018, cannabis officially became legal in Canada. Since then, Marijuana Party kind of faded into the background. Their founder, Marc Boris St. Maurice, had already moved on. He later joined the Liberal Party, saying they had the power to actually get things done. The Natural Law Party. Now, this might be one of the strangest political parties Canada has ever seen. The Natural Law Party was formed in 1992, and its ideas were simply weird. The party was based on the teachings of Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, the same guru who taught meditation to the Beatles. Its founders in Canada were followers of transcendental meditation, which is simply a technique involving the silent, effortless repetition of a mantra, a sound or word, to promote relaxation, reduce stress, and enhance mental clarity. They believe that many of the world's problems, like crime, war, poverty, and even sickness, could be solved through deep meditation and something called yogic flying, which is not actual flying, but a term given when people sit cross-legged on mats and bounce in the air using muscle contractions. The party claimed this technique could create world peace. They registered themselves and ran in both federal and provincial elections across Canada. Their platform involved creating groups of meditators to lower crime rates, replacing traditional medicine with natural health programs, and using scientifically proven consciousness to boost the economy. The Natural Law Party even claimed that if enough people meditated together, they could literally change the energy of the country. While it sounds like fiction, but they had trained speakers, slick campaign videos, and real candidates on the ballot. During the 1993 federal election, the Natural Law Party ran 231 candidates across Canada, which was more than the Bloc Québécois or the Reform Party that year. But despite the big push, they didn't win any seats. Most Canadians found the ideas too strange, too spiritual, or just too far out there. The party kept running in elections through the 1990s, but over time, public interest faded. By the early 2000s, the Natural Law Party quietly shut down. Some of its members went back to meditation groups, health centers, or other causes. The Pirate Party of Canada. The Pirate Party of Canada was founded in 2010, and it was inspired by the original Pirate Party from Sweden, which had become popular after fighting for internet freedom and digital rights. The Canadian version had a simple goal: protect online privacy, reform copyright laws, and defend free speech on the internet. Their name, Pirate, came from the way governments and corporations had started calling people pirates just for downloading movies or sharing files. The party flipped the word around and turned it into a symbol of digital freedom. The founder, Jake Danes, along with other tech-savvy activists, believed that Canada's copyright laws were outdated. They argued that the system was punishing regular people, while big companies kept all the power. So, the party wanted to make file sharing legal for personal use, protect Canadians from online surveillance, and support open-source software and innovation. In the 2011 federal election, they ran just a handful of candidates but couldn't win any seats. The reason behind that was their platform was so narrow, so it couldn't get much attention from people other than young voters, tech workers, and internet activists. By the mid-2000s teens, the party became mostly inactive. Their website went quiet, and eventually they disappeared from elections altogether. So, what do all these strange parties tell us about Canada? That even though we like to think of Canadian politics as polite and predictable, it's had its fair share of wild moments. From rhinos to yogic flyers, from pirates to pot activists, people across the country have used politics to express ideas. If you liked learning about Canada's weirdest political stories, don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this.